What's good, y'all? This is Midas Drop Podcast. We are Midas Print, and we are back. Look, we had missed a week, and that's fine. But we also have a lot of things that I'm working on. Um, for instance, we're gonna talk about the website. But also, the topic of this podcast is called "What You Do Is What You Get." How bad do you want to succeed? Um, and that's the question that we all must ask ourselves. It's a question I've been asking myself a lot since I've started. Not just the podcast, the brand itself. Um, and then the website. So the website definitely has me anxious. I don't know. It's because I'm excited. Um, I'm putting. I'm basically following what I just said. What you do is what you get. The topic of the podcast. Because truly, whatever I'm doing, I'm getting something back in return, or I'm putting more into it to get something more out of it. But let's talk about the website. So we are Midas Print community. You'll be able to subscribe, right? We're going to be creating our own social circle of people that want to create, want to execute on their goals, get into intentional writing. And another big thing is just learning that everybody has that same thing in common: time, effort, and energy. But also that everybody has goals that they're not speaking on, that they're not bringing to their awareness, whether they think they're doing it or they're not doing it. Either way, they're right. I mean, there's no right or wrong to it. If you don't want to get your goals done, that's fine. But if you do, then guess what? You can always make it happen. Just like when you're not doing nothing, you're still making something happen. You're being lazy. I mean, you could call it doing nothing at all, but I mean, you're still exerting some type of energy, some type of time, some type of effort. It takes effort in either way. But let me not get off topic or digress. We have a lot of things coming into the We Are Midas Print community. The website is called The Midas Print. The Midas Print. Only because The Midas Print is literally the basis for the community itself. It's literally going to separate us from whatever communities that are out there. And then people will be able to know that this is the place. This is it. This is it. It is what it is, but it is everything. It is everything to anybody who wants to come in and they support the community. Um, so what I have on the website before, this is basically a sneak peek, but what I have on the website, I have the About Me page. Well, About My Sprint, of course, and me. Then I have the speaking engagement. I have the podcast, of course. um, what else? See, it's been busy. I have the membership, so you can subscribe to the newsletter, the blogs, this, that, and the third. Then I have the ebook coming out, which is my first merchandise, which goes in depth of my experience being an experience, which is probably just a big introduction, and then the system itself. Um, Eventually, I'm going to go into the book of We Are Midas Print. It's literally going to be a big book. It's going to be stacked with a lot of information. But right now, I just want to get my feet wet. And then the merch. This is the first one. I like this one. I love it. In fact, I feel like it's going to be a Midas Print hoodie edition, first edition or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care about the merch right now. I just care about the impact that I'm going to make. So, like I said, I keep my promises. The summer is going to be strictly speaking engagements, building up an audience. Of course, I'm going to make money, but the biggest thing is to go out there and get people hooked or tapping in or leaving their mark on the community itself. Right? and getting people to own their story, making it their own. And I was thinking the other day, because now I'm about to touch on intentional writing, right? Because that's what Midas Print was based. That's Midas Print's basis of everything is writing, but not just any writing, intentional writing. What did I mean by intentional writing? We want to write to learn. To learn about what? To learn about what kind of goals we want to reach. Um, what how much we want to learn about ourselves. Because at the end of the day, if you know thyself, you have a huge advantage over your environment, the things you want to change in your life. It goes down to the habits, the people, um, finances. What else? The type of experiences you really want to have in this life. Remember, we only live one life, but YOLO is not something I care about screaming. It's more about my sprint. Leave your mark, make it your own. That's what I want people to say. So it's a symbol for the likeness of doing the best that you can in this life because we only live one life. But let's get back into it. I want to touch on the writing aspect. Writing to learn. What are we learning about? Your goals, yourself, and how can you really take those actions? But the real action is writing, which is interesting because if you're aware of your thoughts and if you can speak clearly on your thoughts and gain clarity, that's where the real magic happens. And that's where you can really do the work. Not to say that you're not doing the work because writing is an action, you're doing some type of work, but it's the work that gets the writing, the work that you do in the writing is what gets the actual results into the big work, the work that you put your faith in, right? Now, there's a Bible quote that I love that actually I love the most. I'm gonna look it up. I actually have two that I love, and I always would read. Of course, I still read, but these are the two biggest ones that actually helped me build Midas Print, the scope of Midas Print. Um, it does say faith without works is dead. So we're gonna go into that. This is James 2, verse 17. Even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead, being alone. A man say, thou hast faith, and I have works. This is old English, but I'm gonna try to read it. Basically saying, faith without works is dead. I'm not gonna try to read it. But faith without works is dead, and work without faith is dead. So you have to put two and two together. For me, it's like a science, because writing is a science in itself. If I had to break down what science means, it means to know. So you're writing to know thyself, but also you need to have faith in that these things will come to fruition. A lot of times, I think we're not aware that the things that we do in our day-to-day life actually affects us the most. When we're not aware, it does affect us tremendously because it's what is it like? I don't want to say drugs and none of that. I'm trying to get to it. What I was saying. It's like having high blood pressure. And I'm learning that the effects of high blood pressure, you don't necessarily know the effects of it right away unless you like checking for it or whatever. But it was interesting that I was thinking about it because I'm like, the community that I'm from or the community that I'm involved in, stress is high blood pressure is a thing, and I just wanted to be aware of it. But what happens is if you don't check it, you don't know it's really there. That's kind of like these bad habits or you're unaware of your own thoughts, right? when you don't bring those things to life, um, or to your awareness, let's say that, to your awareness, it becomes a problem long term. But in the meantime, it really don't affect you. It's kind of like first you used to smoke those little candy cigarettes, then you get into smoking actual cigarettes. You get a buzz. I just went into drugs anyways, but you get a buzz your first hit. You know that little beginner's high. Then eventually, long term, you gain a huge dependency on it. Now it becomes your vice or your downfall. The smallest things become our downfall. And this is why having a good habit of writing to learn makes it easy for you to tackle the habits that you might have not been aware of, but you become aware of. You become aware of your space, you become aware of your energy, you become aware of your day-to-day things that you're going to do. Now, let's break it down. Because now I have to like give you my experience. That's the point of being a teacher in a way. Rather than being a preacher, I don't preach these things that I have not done. I practiced them first, taught myself in a way, but I had somebody teaching me. So I had to become a student. Then I began to teach when I was more confident in understanding, like, okay, this is my experience with this. But I'm sure there's people out here that can have a different experience and actually teach me. I become the student. I always want to become the student, but I also want to be the teacher, and vice versa. But what happens is the people that I teach eventually become my teacher. Right? I'm no longer the teacher, I become the student. And that's where I know that what I've put to practice and what I've experienced that actually worked for me has done somebody 10 times better. What does it say? That the things that I do, you can do more? You can always do more. I can always do more to make sure that you do more. And that's one of those things where there's never a sacrifice, there's only a giving. And that's why I say give more. You always want to give more. You don't want to ever give less. You want to give more, you want to keep giving and giving and giving. But in the end, you have to also be able to take or well, let's say receive. You also want to be able to receive, right? You want to be able to receive. Cuz there's a negative to everything. If you are one of those teachers that's prideful, you give this and give this, but you can't receive anything from a student or from anybody that's taking your course, then it becomes a big issue where pride gets in the way. And you start to speak about those things that you give. Oh, I give this. Oh, I give that. Oh, I give this. I give this. But then you're not paying attention to the little things that the person you're teaching is actually giving you. But you can't receive it because it's not what you think is your standard. But you got to remember, everybody has a beginning. Everybody's a beginner somewhere. Um, Even for me, constantly wanting to learn something new. I'll tell you this new venture I'm getting into. Um, Horseback riding. Crazy. I've never rode a horse until my birthday. I rode a horse, but it just made me think. Like, it was a new experience. It was scary, but then it became natural. I think it became natural because I thought of it as playing sports. I thought about track for some reason. I don't know why, but track is basically just a bunch of running. But the thing is, with running is like you constantly, moving your whole body. It's a whole body experience. It requires your whole body. So of course, the body is like a machine. I look at people that run track as like a vehicle at a lower level, and it allowed me to be a student because I was learning, and having those experiences actually like made it easy for me to continue to be a student. Just a little experience. I think it was a small experience. It wasn't nothing big, but it allowed me to stay in this place of like constant expansion. That's where I'm at. I always want to stay there, always expanding the horizon, being able to see the sun, any parts of the world, type of thing. If you want to think about it that way, being able to have jet lag. That's something I think about. Being able to have jet lag, like you able to fly any part of the world, having any part of experience, and having jet lag any time of your life. Because there's people out here that don't even. I hate to digress, but there's people out here that do not have that experience. Probably won't ever have that experience of being able to go to another country and have jet lag, like actually sleeping in during the day because like the times are different. You know, there's a huge time difference. And then you learn about like certain things about yourself. Traveling is another thing that is an action that you have to be willing to take. It's really like taking a leap, kind of like off the edge of the earth, if you may say. Let's think about Christopher Columbus. I'm not a big fan, but let's just say it. Let's just look at the standpoint. Everybody starts out as Christopher Columbus. I guarantee it. Everybody's probably thinking the same mindset. Like, we're giving information through somebody else, but it's not our firsthand experience. It's not our experience, so we have to go off of what we're given. The biggest thing is going out, taking that leap, and doing it yourself, and coming back with your own experience and speaking about it. That's what it felt like when I was writing about midasprint. Like, it felt like I was traveling the world in a way, but only through the confines of my own mind that I was traveling. And I also want y'all to think about this quote: "The mind takes you where the body cannot." At first, then eventually, your body starts to follow. It's the same thing where you get rid of the head, the body will follow. I'm in the martial arts too, so when somebody gets hit in the chin well enough, good enough, their body follows as well. Like it's one whole thing. So that's what I think about. The mind goes where the body cannot. If you can focus on your mental state to eventually get your body to go in that direction, that's really what's going to get you to where you need to go, because the mind, they say the mind is all and everything is the mind. So really it's about changing the perspective. Now, once you join midasprint, that's what you're going to get. I'm going to keep reiterating the importance of changing your mind, changing your mind, changing your mind. But this is how you do it. First, now we're going to midasprint system. We went to, speaking engagements. We went into the website. Now I'm giving y'all the midasprint system. First thing is first is ideas. Matter of fact, we're still on intentional writing, of course, but ideas. How do we come up with ideas? How? How do ideas come to surface? Ideas are just thoughts floating around your mind. If you don't value them enough, they don't come in abundance. Just like anything else. Like if you don't value money, money doesn't come in abundance. If you don't value, let's say, your body enough, your body doesn't build in abundance. Because guess what you're going to do? You're going to eat trash. You're going to take in trash, like alcohol, drugs, or whatever, this, that, and third. And your body's going to become trash. What we do with garbage? Garbage doesn't move. It goes in the trash and it gets basically put in a burial, which is going to happen to us all, of course, but we don't want to speed it up, do we? We don't. We want to feel like we're gonna live to be forever young. But this is what ideas do to people. Ideas are like the fountain of youth. Ideas are the holy grail. Ideas are Midas print. If we had to be real, like ideas are Midas print. And this is why I say this. It's a system. Ideas lead on, lead us to experience stacking experiences, which I call experience stacking, where we stack experiences based on ideas. Because what we have to do is we have to become scientists. Before we become magicians, we have to go into practice of being a scientist. A scientist does what? They have a thesis. They have a hypothesis. Oh well, let's be broad. They have scientific methods, which goes to the thesis, the hypothesis. I guess anything in between, but they have conclusion as well. They have conclusion, and let's see. Yeah, they have a conclusion, and then what I want you to think is about categorizing each experience along with your goals. Right? Let's say, for instance, let's say this. I'm gonna give you one of mine. I have a goal to travel the world over 1 billion times. Now, I don't know how I'm gonna get. I don't know how I'm gonna do all of that. Right? I don't know at first, but I know that I can gain experience. What can I gain experience in? Okay, this is a no-brainer. Of course, I can go to a country that I always wanted to travel to. Right? Thailand is like a home away from home. Right? I would pick Thailand. Let's say summertime, because I'm a teacher. I have breaks, so I do the summer, right? Go to Thailand. Oh, I'm also a teacher, so I have a skill. I can teach English in Thailand, right? That's how I would go about that, because I have a skill. I have experience in doing something that I have to give to the world. Speaking engagements, of course, I can do that as well. But what I'm saying is, I can travel the world. It's interesting enough. I also was like, well, I can start small too. I can run. I can run all over Houston, right? So I got a running coach for that, where I can run all over Houston. I can get challenged in doing all those things. Of course, that's minuscule. That's like, that takes time, effort, energy. You can use your own body to travel, right? Run wherever you want to run. But you get your mind in a mindset that, what if I'm running in Thailand on the street that I've never been, and it's beautiful outside. I see elephants, this, that, and the third. Look, I'm painting a picture, right? But see, that's what happens. Dream big, but start small. That's how it really goes. But what I want to say is, let me keep going, because I'm about to go into something else. But that's what happens. You categorize it to, like, almost like small steps. You categorize it. So we got the going to Thailand, or even South American countries, because I'm a world geography teacher. So I probably would do that. Bring something back to the kids and talk about South America and how was it in my experience, which is another way to get kids involved and wanting to travel the world. So there's another idea. See, being a teacher is not as bad as people think it is. It's not really that bad. If you really have something to give and you want to give and give more, that's exactly how this would go. So I just came with a bunch of ideas just off of me talking about teaching, um, my goal of traveling, my big major goal of traveling the world over 1 billion times over, 1 billion+ miles. Like, did you see how that happened? Like, it was just like, I went from this part, I went here, I said this, and instantly ideas just start flowing. Ideas just start flowing. But guess what? It matters most when it's written down and it's categorized into a bunch of goals. And the only way to achieve them is through a bunch of experiences. A bunch of experiences. And I'm guaranteed that I'm going to gain some skills along the way. Why? Because I just spoken about teaching English in Thailand. That's a skill that I'm going to build. Communication skills. intercultural communication skills for sure, because then I learned how to communicate with another culture, which I could bring back to my kids, right? So this is where I'm going with this. You have to get you have to now it's time we categorize the goals, but now we need to build a team, or we need to find circles that would get us there, right? Like I said, midasprint is a networking. I'm an advocate for networking, so of course I'm going to put the pieces together. I'm going to put the web up, and I have a huge athletic background, so of course I'm thinking about sports and I'm thinking about running plays. It's fun to think that way, because for me, coding is like running plays because it talks about running a function, but same thing to me. But let's get to it. Your circles. So I talked about traveling. The idea was to teach English as a foreign language in another country. So the circles I'm trying to find is people that travel a lot, so I can get tips and pointers on how to effectively travel without having to burn my pockets, right? Of course. That's exactly what I think about. Because what we want to do is minimize money, but expand and maximize on time, effort, and energy. That's all we want to do. We want to minimize money as much as possible. Not saying we don't want to get the money and keep it and all that stuff, but we want to minimize it because there's more resources than just money. You get what I'm saying? People are a resource. That's why networking, that's why I said network is your net worth. And I'm gonna get into that as well. But we're gonna find circles because we gotta run those plays. We got to. You can't. You. Can't, there's no I in team, so you'll never reach the amount of success that you want without a team. Like this podcast, I'm telling you, like for real. I can't tell you how grateful I am to be on the team because, like, if you look at my videos that I first started out with, just at my crib, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing it. So obviously, I had faith. I had the idea. I was eventually going to get the structure, and it happened. Look where I'm at now. I'm here. I'm doing it. And that's how big a team is. But let's get into it. The traveling. So we're gonna look for obviously travel agent. We want to be around people, a group of people that travel a lot, and they are resourceful, of course. That can hook you up with certain things. I guess I don't even know about too much about travel. I'm getting into it. Let's say I'm getting there, but I'm just gonna give you like the play that I would run based on my prior knowledge right now. Like of course, get around people that travel a lot, a ton. Have them give me the resources of a travel agent, maybe hotels they may have stayed in. Maybe somebody I can find that's been to Thailand can give me a great deal. You know what I'm saying? Plane tickets. Give me information on that. Um, travel buddies. Travel buddies always works because you can share a room. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Like when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, travel buddy. Um, let's think. Let's think. I guess that's about it. That's about it. And then, well, yeah, let's. So we got the place, but now let's see how can we make money out of this whole venture of going overseas and traveling, like traveling, right? Writing. Writing is lucrative if you know how to, structure your writing in a way. Travel blogs, or even video, travel vlogs, travel blogs. Um, Doing articles for hotels. I learned this through a book. I don't even remember the book. If I had to scroll through my ebooks, I can probably, because I don't want to just steal people's stuff. Even me coming up with the system for midasprint, I read a book. Matter of fact, I can pull up that book, the book about the system and how I even came into play with this. Even though this is gonna be in a book, I'll give you a snippet. I'll be friendly. I'll be nice. Thinking in Systems by Danella H. Meadows. I wrote about it in the book, of course, but um, it really talks good about being able to create systems and why systems thinking is so important. Which I read some books, but I just never could get into it fully. I don't know why. I don't know why that book stuck out the most, but it is a bestseller, so it makes sense. Well, international bestseller. Let me correct myself, but it makes sense. But um, we want to do writing, teaching English. Look, there's money in that. Like there's money in all of that. Writing, of course, it's gonna take time. I think I would have to start now and then be ready by next year. I think so if I was getting ready for Thailand, let's just put a scenario out there. If I was getting ready for Thailand and I was gonna go around this time or around my birthday of next year, right? There's a lot of things I would have to do. First, I'll have to set up a blog on my website because you know why not? Like why not give people information about traveling? But what I would do is I'll learn as much about the culture, do research on places I would like to stay, places I would like to visit, just in case nobody knows what Thailand is like, right? Give them an image, give them a visual through writing. I would create maybe 50 plus articles. It's possible. Not too many words. It could be short, it could be, long. It just depends on how much I'm dedicated to doing that much work. I think um 20 articles is good, but 50 would be pretty extreme. It'd be lovely because you'll be able to influence more people. Um, but I would definitely do that. I would get it started around this time, be paying to get ready to go to Thailand. And I think there would be a way to let's say, um, uh, social media is good for this, right? So if I was looking for somebody in Thailand, let's say an influencer in Thailand or somebody that owns a hotel in Thailand or owns an Airbnb. Look where I'm going with this. If they have an Airbnb and they're a host, and I was like, well, hey, I want to talk about the experience that you give to people on my website, a traveling blog that I'm um preparing to go to Thailand the next year, but I want to learn as much about the culture, much about this, that, and the third. That's it. And it'll take you somewhere because you're building a connection, you're networking with people with a purpose. Now let's go into networking because that's really how this whole system is going to work, anyways. I know you got your ideas, I know you got your experiences, but what comes with those experiences and running the play, there's people involved. There's always going to be people involved. I guarantee it. So let's talk about that. Being an advocate for networking. Now, there's something I wrote in the book that came to my mind that networking is your net worth is different for everybody. But I'm gonna talk about what it means for my sprint, or it's starting to feel like for me. Now, I've been to events, right? I've been to events, and there's a lot of humble people in the room, and all they have is their word, right? So my thing was, how do I know if they have the money or if there's money in this room, right? And what came to mind was do favors for those people, right? Do favors, like big favors, huge favors, right? And what you'll find is that once you do that favor, you complete and you execute, and they show you the money, that's where you really get to know your circle, right? You just see about how they move, how you do certain things. But for me, it's like, do favors for people. Do a lot of them. Yeah, do favors. Do favors. And what you get out of those favors is you get cash, but also you get an experience that the dodge is networking. Your net worth is your network is your net worth. But the thing is, the only way you can net anything is if you're working. Not just at the networking event, but outside of it. Mm, I hate to be philosophical. It's just the information that I get from writing and what I begin to learn from my own experiences is that that's truly what it means. And I feel like nobody, or maybe I haven't heard it, or maybe it just came to mind for me that nobody's talking about it in that way, right? Nobody's talking about it in that way. Because even when you leave the networking event, you still got to work with that person. You still need to work with that person. It's vital, right? Networking events are good because you get to be resourceful and then you get resources. That's the big thing. That's the whole gist of it all. And you get to possibly be somebody's mentor. Somebody can mentor you for free, or you have to do favors. But either way, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. You're going to build your net worth and your network. That was a big thing. Now. I want to get in the thing that got me most excited. I did say I was going to give y'all the website. And it's coming. I did it. Yeah, I did it. What was the slogan for midasprint? Everything written down gets accomplished. I never fell back on it. I never faltered, never switched up or anything on you guys. So I'm looking to get people to subscribe. I want people in the community. I don't care if it's like 10 people. I'm gonna love every bit of it. But I'm looking for 50. I'ma love it. 50 people to teach or mentor or whatever. And we're all just involved and we're networking. That's a big thing for me. Another big thing is the speaking engagements. I know I gotta start local. I know I'm willing to travel, right? I'm willing to travel. I want to do all those things. Because now I say this summer because the more I build midasprint, the brand, the more I understand that this is important. It's truly important. The message is important. So, man, I'm a teacher. So I got the summer off. I'm trying to think, like, it's crazy. I had the summer off, but I'm working all summer. I love it. I always tell people this. I'm like, I'm working even when I'm not working. Cause I'm hungry. I want to be fed. I want to feed. I want to feed off what I produce. But the speaking engagement is mainly to build awareness, brand awareness, speak on the brand promise, speak on the mission statement, the vision statement. Because look, I take this to heart. Like, this is big to me. And I feel like if it's big to me, it's going to be big to anybody else. Not to be a narcissist or anything, or feel like, this is what is for you. I understand it might not be for most people, but for me, I know there's a lot of people out there. I know there's a lot of kids out there, for real, that really, really, really value this type of information, that want to be taught this type of information. Join the brotherhood. Big Brother midasprint. For sure. That is me. That is me. Like I don't mind. I don't mind. I feel like my beginnings really came through Boys and Girls Club. I think that's what really got me going. The wheels were turning. But to be honest, it took me almost a decade. Took me like 8 years, to really figure it out. And for me, I don't look at the time, for real, or the age it took, It really just all about just really wanting to do what it takes. What you do is what you get. And that's something that I understand. And that's why I'm doing more than just a podcast. Like I'm doing speaking engagements, which is going to take so much energy. People don't understand. If you think this seems effortless now, just wait when I'm on stage for an hour, then have another gig in like the next 2 hours or even an hour back to back. Seriously. That is work. That's work for sure. And it's definitely building me confidence for sure. To be able to speak in front of a bunch of people with passion and patience. I think that is a very successful mix. Having the passion and also the patience to build, right? To build something. Because with passion, there's a fire in the heart, there's a desire to do everything that you admire. And the patience comes with aggression to making sure that everything comes to fruition. Everything is protected. Everything continues to have perfection. And another thing about that, perfection. The way I see perfection now, since I'm actually doing these things, and it's not even perfect. For me, I'm like nervous. Believe it or not, I'm nervous every time I come on. Every time I have a guest on. Every time I'm doing a video to build my brand. Whenever I'm doing a reel, I'm nervous. I'm anxious. But look at it this way. I'm looking to perfect the imperfection that I have already. I feel like I can always tweak something, change something. But now that I'm in it, I just feel like it's meant to be. This was meant to be. Truly. It's meant to be. And so whatever I do, whether it's perfect or it takes 30 takes, it's really not going to take 30 takes. Really, it takes one take. One take. Because my team, we don't allow that. We don't allow that. We don't allow multiple takes. Look, I understand it now. Because look at it this way. Your time is the currency. You don't have time to do takes, multiple takes. You don't have time to try to perfect anything. Because the people that are admiring you, they're admiring the imperfection that you're perfecting. And they're enjoying watching it. They're enjoying you watching you grow up in your imperfection and perfecting it. That might sound crazy, but it makes sense to me. All the hip hop artists, the actors, well, let's just say musicians, actors, entrepreneurs that we've watched. Maybe they documented everything. What if I tell you their documentation was the music you were listening? Let's say the music you were listening to, and you thought you were saying it was hot. What if that was their documentation? What if that was that imperfection that they were trying to perfect and you was enjoying it? That's what I was thinking. That's what I always been thinking. I was like, yo, this is not gonna be perfect, but we gotta do it. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. Why? Because the documentation is the perfection. That's where the perfection is gonna come. You putting it out there and everybody seeing how good you become after so much time and effort and energy put in over a span of however long it took you to build your audience, to build up who you was gonna be, who you wanted to become. And they always say, who you want to become, you have to be it now. You have to be it now. You have to. And that's what I think. Whenever I think about an artist that I truly, truly was like truly affiliated with from very first album to now. We talking about decades. You talking about when I was a teenager or even a toddler. We talking about that far and seeing the progress. I have a couple of people I can speak on. People know Lil Wayne, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. Like those are names, damn near household names, right? Those are like household names now. But I can listen to their old music and be like, and I can go down memory lane anytime I want because when I was listening to that music, it was giving me an experience, right? But see, what midasprint is, I want to give you an experience, but I also want you to be able to leave your mark and make your own experiences. Because what happens is that's where you truly learn. That's when you truly learn through projects, through the process of projects. You don't learn it through somebody just telling you. You learn it through doing it your own, building it your own. Of course, you might have somebody that can help you. Look, I observed my son. Well, I observe him a lot. Every moment I get, I observe him. Building something, watching something, tearing up something, breaking something, just just something. Even when I'm like, what you doing? He's saying nothing. It's something he's doing. Everybody doing something. But I observe that and I learn. And then I wonder what he learned from it. And the only way I know he learned something from it is through his own actions. Right? And that's how I see it. What is the structure? I'm learning this as a teacher too. That teachers have the skill to actually like build courses and make money off teaching whatever they're passionate about. The only thing they lack is accountability, patience, responsibility. The main thing is the main thing, and the main thing is that teachers say they don't get paid enough. Even the people that aren't teachers are like, y'all don't get paid enough. But how much are we putting out? Remember, what you do is what you get. And what I'm getting is it's kind of like we do together. Well, first is I do, then we do together, then you do. Why do I say that? It's because that's how you've learned as a kid. Truly, every kid learned that way. You show the baby how to play. Marble Run is my best example. I love Marble Run. I wish they would make a human-sized Marble Run where everybody can be in a marble and rolling. It sounds crazy, but I know one day I'm gonna pull it off. I'm not worried about that right now. But to my understanding is you get a kid started with Marble Run, right? It's a great learning tool because it teaches them hands on, teaches them processes and systems through colors. Basically STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which I'm a coach in that. So I understand it in a way. Um, but that's how we all learn. So for instance, I could teach a kid how to do Marble Run on their own, but how does it go first? It's I do, they watch me do it. Then what happens in the I do is that it sparks an experience, it sparks a interest. Oh, this is fun because he's enjoying it, right? Then as we do, we're enjoying it. And then the ideas start to spark through the stacking of experiences, right? Because everybody needs a coach. All parents are coaches. I don't care what nobody says. All parents are coaches. Some of us have coaches that actually suck, and some of us have good ones, right? But everybody has a coach throughout the whole life. It don't matter. But the thing is, that child gets the experiences, and then it starts to execute, right? It starts to execute. And then you have this whole thing of currency, which kids don't really have money, but time, effort, and energy is the first thing that they have the most of. They have abundance of it. A plethora of time, effort, and energy. And if they can continue to keep that same habit, you're building a great habit right there. Teamwork, building, all those things. And then it starts to become actual money and currency and building those things and making money off of it. But it has to a lot of us just have to go back to a time where we were playful, where we were um being coached without, feeling like that's beneath us, right? Um Even I play with Marvel Run and I get ideas from it. So that's why I'm never gonna knock it. Um, but look, we're gonna have a closing, and I have a question that I really want to ask for you that's listening, and then for myself. And I've been thinking about a lot of questions to ask. It's always something small, something super simple. If you could think about one minuscule thing that allows you to create, it could be anything, just allows you to create. What is the inspiration? It could be anything. Because I just love trying to figure it out for myself. And then, because it changes. I mean, you just got to become aware of the changes that go on in your life. Because one thing I do in the morning that actually gets me going is I turn on the light because it's right above me. And it's like, I know it's weird, but it gives me an idea of a light bulb going off. Like, yeah, the idea is to get up. The idea is to go conquer the day. That's the big idea, is make sure we conquer the day. And we got that first idea, which is about turning on the light and getting up 4 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But I know that's going to change. I just know. And now the thing is for me, another small thing is for me is, geez, it's so annoying, is being able to have time to think. Thinking is one of the hardest things to ever do because I'm no better than anybody else. If I have time to think, I'm going to think about doing something now instead of building a true clarity in what I truly want to do. And that's why writing is that small thing that allows me to think, even when I want to go do something, it allows me to stop and really write down my thoughts and find something, right, that I could eventually work on after I'm done thinking for like 30 minutes. Because what happens is, I always think about the program we have. We get programmed into thinking that whenever we think about doing something, we should do it right away. But that thing that we're trying to do might not be what's best at that given time. It probably not is. It's probably not because as a kid you could do that, but now as adult and money's involved and priorities involved, you really have to think. You have to think in a very proficient and excellent way that's going to give you desirable results. And that's what comes out of it. But I truly want to end this on the sneak peek into the website, just my vision statement and the mission statement. I love it. I want to keep reading it because I want to memorize it and remember it and never forget it in the back of my mind. And the mission statement is truly for me to remember, of course, but I would definitely want people to like remember the vision statement. So I'm going to remember both, of course, but this is my mission. This is my sprint mission. It's to maximize the potential of individuals through intentional writing, leveraging time, effort, and energy as the driving forces for implementing effective goal setting strategies and fostering deep self discovery journeys. Whew. I love it. I love the sound of it. Like, is everything. Man, building a website, an actual functional, persuasive, get the people going website takes a lot of time and effort and energy, bro. I was just lucky enough to, have put enough time, effort, and energy towards a career that actually allows me to have the finances to, do all that. But even doing it yourself is crazy. But look, the vision statement. This is for you guys. Check it out. Check it out. Like envision a future where every day empower creators like yourself, designers like yourself, actively execute their vision, leveraging intentional writing to dynamically create and redesign their lifestyles. Through optimized time, effort, and energy, they work towards effective goal setting, fostering profound self discovery journeys, shaping a world where lives are actively and intentionally crafted. And there's another thing I want to talk about before I end it. I was thinking the other day about midasprint, and I was thinking about the younger generation that I have such a huge influence on. These kids look up to me so much. It's almost scary because I'm not perfect. I'm human, but like I said, perfecting my imperfections to the point where the flaws are not even seen as flaws. They're looked as a trigger or um, a symbol to keep going and become great. Um, the children are the greatest because they come from greatness. That's it. That's the quote. That's the slogan. I love y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the website. Y'all make sure y'all watch this episode so y'all can get up to date information. Well, uh, live time information on what's been going on, what I have going on. I gave you whole hours, so you have no excuses. No excuses. Speed up the video if you have to. I know I definitely was, getting sidetracked, but it was fun. And I enjoyed breaking this down with you guys, the website, letting y'all know that the brand, the website, the speaking engagements is coming. And like I said, leave your mark and make it your own. Peace.